All right, if I'm not good enough, at least they'll like popcorn.
Hi YouTube, welcome to another episode of Awkward Conversation. Today I'm here with Rutgers SAS Honors Program student Ariel Neyman. Thank you for being here.
Of course, great to be here.
So Ari, can you introduce yourself please?
My name is Ari. I'm from Rutgers, New Brunswick. I graduated Milburn High School in 2018, and I'm currently a sophomore, like you, at the Business School in New Brunswick. And I'm a supply chain major, and I'm in the Rutgers SAS Honors Program.
So how did you get into SAS Honors Program? Were you smart in high school? Did you get good SAT, ACT scores?
Well, I took the ACT. I did okay, and I had a decent GPA in high school. I had I think something like around 3.6 and 32 on ACT. I'm not exactly sure like what goes into the admissions in the SAS Honors Program, but in terms of how I got into it, literally like I got an email a couple months after I got into Rutgers, New Brunswick, into the business school, and the email had a link to a portal where I can either accept or deny an invitation to the honors program. Not to be confused with the honors college. That holds people to like a higher standard a little bit academically. So basically, if you have good marks and like good test scores, if you don't get into honors college, you can still get into the honors program. There's very little differences aside from like freshman year housing.
So I know there are some perks of being in the honors program. What benefits have you personally experienced from being in the honors program?
Well, personally, I've really made use of the honors courses, which could be either seminars or like sections of like regular like business classes or whatever major classes. And what those are is like smaller sections with professors that are supposedly like pretty high achieving and like good reviewed. That's not always the case, but with the smaller class sizes, what's really happened is I've been able to build better relationships with my professors and my classmates as well. And they've been able to build relationships with the professor too. A smaller class size, it allows you to like really make those connections without having to go to office hours or without necessarily having to go to like certain extracurricular like clubs or activities, right? That's really what the honors program is going for, like making a big community of like high achieving, like driven, motivated individuals who all like kind of like stay together a little bit. Besides that, there's honors housing, like I said, staying together. You live with a lot of the people that you take classes with. And that's cool, like when say you're in teams, which happens a lot. That's probably not exclusive to the honors program, but you can just collaborate in the lounge of your dorm, you know, like, and you see someone from your class, say hi. And yeah, it helps you build relationships without like having to really stress about it too much. Something I haven't experienced, I know you didn't really ask, but like there's a giant advising network that's like really solid. And that consists of both mentorship and like honors deans who are assigned to you upon like matriculation of Rutgers. So like those deans stay with you until you graduate. So you don't get a new one every year, and they work with you, they watch you grow, and you get to really like solidify a connection there.
Are honors classes harder?
They could be. From my personal experience, usually there's an added element to the class that they kind of want to do to make it different from regular classes. Most of the curriculum tends to be the same, but that added element kind of adds like a more real world experience usually. Like for example, in Intro to Marketing, I'm in the honors section of that. There's a project at the end that's normally not there. For like a big sections, it might be more difficult with a big section, I don't know. But for that, we really have to do our own research and really like make stuff that doesn't already exist, you know, and it's not just reading a text but taking an exam. We have the same exams, usually, because that's easier for the professor, I guess. But like, yeah, just usually one or two more things overall that make the class a little more challenging.
So do honors professors hold students to a higher level of academic performance?
Not explicitly. Usually there's some sort of kind of like implication there. Like I can't read their minds really, the professors, but what I can really read is just like what they say. And from that, I can say, based on one experience, that one professor did make some remarks concerning that for one exam, our average was lower than a non-honors section. And he expressed like some disappointment. But what I can gather from that is that while they don't like enforce a higher standard of performance, because stuff happens to everyone, you can't expect an honors student to like do well every time. However, they've taught many classes, I've taught none, so they usually see what happens. And what's most likely is that honors courses do tend to have like a higher level of performance than non-honors sections, and that could affect your judgment a little bit.
So do you think the honors program is worth the extra effort?
Yeah, if you're going into it for the right reasons, like it's not so much about prestige. Like the only recognition you really get, like without considering of what you do in the program, is like an asterisk on your transcript that says like SAS Honors Program, right? So if you really like go into it like being driven and motivated to like build relationships and like make connections and like do better in school than you otherwise would have with all these resources available through the honors program, then that really makes it worth it at the end. Like for example, like there's a global language requirement. Like might be annoying at the time, but I'm sure you'll have a more diverse like knowledge and literally a vocabulary after taking 2 languages. Same with all the other requirements of the honors program, which can be found on a website, I believe. And it makes it worth it, in my opinion.
What advice would you give to incoming freshmen and current freshmen from a sophomore's perspective?
Make sure you really use like the resources if I'm talking about the honors program in particular, and really in general, make sure you use the resources that Rutgers gives to you. The thing with college is that unlike high school where you have a guidance counselor that literally goes to your class and like finds you to like tell you something, here like a lot of stuff is left up to you, right? You don't have your mom and dad, unless you're commuting, you don't have your mom and dad like breathing on your neck, like telling you do well, like do your homework now, not later, So really just like keep a consistent routine going. And if you ever go off of that routine, like don't panic, whatever like moves you're making, like make sure like they're calculated to like work for you more so than your friend. Say your friend goes to a career fair, for example, like that may not necessarily be the right time for you. So while you should be ambitious and you should try and like build relationships, network, which like in the honors program, act kind of for yourself in terms of what's better for yourself. Don't really conform to like any like norms if you don't have to, right? If you feel that it's not the right time. Besides that, like classes are hard. They can get hard. Like some are easy, some are hard. And if you end up in a bad situation, like whenever really in your classes, I would basically just understand that it happens. Like it'd be pretty special if you just went through college without a single flop. And yeah, also be grateful for what you have really right now. Like you could be sitting on a bunch of good achievements that you had in the past, or like even if it's not in college, like all that, like you probably already built like a good foundation for yourself in one way or another. You may not see it, others might, so while you're being ambitious, while you're striving for like bigger, better things, like make sure to stop and think like, like what do I have to be grateful for right now, and that could help you in the same way to just like get those achievements that you're looking for.
Thank you for your wise words.
No problem, dude.
Okay.
You're just gonna know like that. Thank you for your question.
Thank you for taking the time out of your day to tell my audience about the honors program, and I'm sure they will appreciate your wise words. Thank you very much for being here.
Great to be here.
Thank you.